Drove the BMW for the first time home last night since I did the manual swap. Almost didn't make it. Yeah, this thing barely made it home last night because it started wigging out, basically cutting out, you know, even stalled out. But thankfully, so far, it seems that I found that my cam sensor, which I do have to change because it's an off-brand one that's in there now, but I found that it was unplugged last night. So I'm assuming maybe at some point whoever changed it to that off-brand sensor didn't plug it in and click it all the way, and it had vibrated out. So thankfully, it started up. I drove it last night to the parts store to get some bulbs because, like, you know, I had a bad turn signal and stuff. So it did fine going to the parts store and back. So the test is going to be if I make it to the shop today. Sure enough, see if a restart fixes it. Yeah, dude, something's not happy. Thankfully, you know, the car did make it back to the shop. It's gotta be this cam sensor, dude. So I'm gonna, like I said, I'll change it out here later today. Just got back to the shop right now, but it was doing the same thing. Like in the last clip when I was pulled over on the side of the road, it would spit, it would sputter, it would choke up, and then after idling it for a few minutes, it would clear up enough to where I could go another couple miles, and then it would do it again, and then key off, key on, didn't really do much. It almost is like the sensor when it gets hot is wigging out. So I don't know. I'll change the sensor, I'll clear the codes, I'll drive it, see what happens. But it was embarrassing though, being stuck on the side of the freeway, especially since, so I needed to buy a new taillight because I have a turn signal out. So I was trying to use the hazards, but the turn signal bulb up here, I went to go get some bulbs because I even had a license plate light out and stuff. The turn signal bulb port in here is snapped off, like the plastic's just broken from being old. So there's not even a bulb or a piece in there. So I have to probably junkyard one because I don't know if I bought an eBay taillight if it would come with the actual bulb piece where the, you know, bulb sits into. But anyways, yeah, welcome back to the channel. We're working on the Evo some more today. Last video we got the lower charge piping done, which would be the hot side, and then we got the radiator modified, and we, you know, long day. To me, not a lot of progress, at least mentally, but we got some good progress made nonetheless. You know, like the young static boy says, progress is progress. But anyway, guy just dropped off the hood so that way I can start making the wastegate dumps today. We're doing twins up the hood. He wants them clear in the hood. He wants them, you know, kind of cool looking. We're doing teardrops. We're gonna make them big. Let's get into it. Jumping right into this. This is gonna be the upper radiator hose. I'll just have to trim it up to, you know, fill the gap right there. He's actually about to drop off some heat sleeving to protect all this. This is all Cerakoted, so we're trying to do our best with heat management and stuff here. But focus of today is to try and get the dump tubes done, and then if we have time, try and get the intake. You know, it is a Friday. I'm not trying to stay here all day. I do have a life, believe it or not. But yeah, so there's not a whole lot to explain. You guys have seen me work this process before, and I'm just gonna go through, run my course. This one's gonna be super easy. This one's gonna be, you know, easy, just a little harder than this one. And then the measurements up. So he doesn't want to damage the hood at all. So he's wanting me to make him 4 inches up over. So honestly, it's kind of tall, but you know, it's easy to trim him down if he ends up not liking how tall it is himself. So yeah, let's just jump right into it. steady moving along on this. I already got the majority of the one wastegate made. I just gotta weld it out really quick, and then I'll do the teardrops when the other one is relatively matching it. And so the other one, like you've seen, I got some pie cuts here. I got these pie cuts here, so I'm making one more longer piece right now to kick it up more in this area, and then I'm gonna bring it straight up because I wanted it to be plenty clear of the hood and closer to the manifold, just because I think it'll look a little bit better that way. Here's what I was trying to cut, so hopefully the tape stays together for me for the moment. You can kind of see the weird offset cuts. One is the same on each angle, the other one has an offset, like opposite cut. I don't know, whatever. So the way I was trying to do this was something like that, and then that'll, you know, kick it over and then kind of go straight up relatively. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark this, tack it all up, and test fit it, but I think I'm on the right track. Alright, got both wastegate dump tubes tacked up until the point where I believe I'm ready for teardrops. Now this one needs to come up probably like another 2 inches to match the height of this one overall, but that's I just need to get these welded first because these are going to shift and I need to account for that. So I'm going to try and be patient, and the trick is to weld the outside edges first, let those fully cool, and then go in and attack the inside and outside. That way you get the most minimum warpage or pull inside or out. When you're doing it on just the sides, it keeps it straight. So zoomed in. There we go. So I just finished welding up the dump tubes, at least, you know, before the teardrops. Again, that one piece has to be raised up just a little bit more. I thought we had bought Vibrant material, but I was mistaken. This is some off-brand stainless steel from Amazon that I found because I forgot I was trying to help him save a few bucks, but, you know, lo and behold, he ended up spending, you know, $500 in material just for, you know, an upper radiator hose setup for me to make them. But whatever, like, that was my bad. The material I chose, it welded, it just didn't weld good. Like, I scotch brighted it, I acetoned it, I deburred it, I fit it good. I you know, was purging it. It just welded very sloppily, like very dirty. And there's some parts of the weld where you can see stuff like in the weld, like floated up. You know, that's the difference that you get with cheap metal. Vibrant and other name brand like Stainless Bros, especially Stainless Bros, it welds super nice. You get all the pretty colors. This one, because the cuts were so close, you know, there's a little bit of you know, dark blues and stuff from the heat. But yeah, it's just a price to pay for trying to, you know, save a few bucks in the material quality. But it's gonna look good nonetheless. I'm gonna let it cool. I'm gonna go grab some lunch really quick when I get back. It should be good to bolt back up and make the last little pieces. Also, for anybody wondering why I have them clamped together, it is because of that right there. That is going to make sure the flanges stay as flat as possible, so that way they still fit. And I'm going to deck them on the belt sander just to be extra safe. But the biggest reason for exhaust leaks is always going to be flanges that are, you know, warped. Just got back from eating some lunch, and just for the heck of it, I tried right before I went changing the sensor on the BMW. It did and didn't fix it, so I'm still not confident how long it's going to last since it's not an OEM one. It's made by Hella, which I believe is the OEM manufacturer of that sensor, or Bosch, can't remember. But yeah, fired it up, the car wouldn't even rev, it was running like crap, and then it stalled out on me. Turns out I ran out of gas. My gas gauge is not reading correctly, so I already just ordered a whole, you know, fuel pump sending unit, because on these cars you can't buy just the pump, at least I'm finding, so I just went through FCP Euro and got the whole thing, and a fuel filter, because I know this car is going to need it anyway. But yeah, so at least hopefully with the new sending unit, pump assembly, the fuel gauge should read correctly. But then with my luck, there's like a little hose here. So this hose right here caught the fan and tore on me, because that goes from the reservoir here and runs in the fan shroud to right here, because, you know, why not? And one of the plastic clips that holds it up here snapped off at some point, so the thing was flopping around and caught it in the fan. So now I gotta run to the parts store and try and swap that out. But I'm gonna deal with that in a little bit. I'm just gonna try and finish these dumps. So let's finish these dumps. Got the second side, you know, welded up, ready for the teardrops. I am gonna cut the teardrops and I'm gonna tape them on, and I'm gonna send the owner a photo. I personally still think it's gonna be a little too tall. I don't know, maybe it's just me. You know, it's his car at the end of the day, but I would rather have the teardrop being more just a hair over the hood than, you know, sticking a total of 4 inches up. Now this is 99% level. I got this on here. The only difference is this cut was slightly off. You can see the slight gap on the cut there, but otherwise, you know, they're almost perfectly straight up and level and squared up. Like, we're looking good. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and cut these things by hand. If you don't know how to make a teardrop, let me show you really quick. Essentially, visualize the line. So you're taking the long side out. So you can kind of see this line coming across here. So you will follow that just like that. So you can cut that with an angle grinder, you can cut it on a bandsaw. You're essentially just cutting straight along the inside edge long ways in a 90. And then you can see the teardrop forming right here. And then you just shape it up on a belt sander or with a flap disc. Alright, so after talking with the owner, he's pretty happy with the tall ones like this. He said if, you know, we're going to try this for now and we can always, you know, shorten them up later. It's not a big deal, especially since they're coming out the hood right there. It's not at all, you know, problematic. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to align these and just weld them up. No big deal, and we'll wrap those things up. Well, that's gonna do it for the hood dumps. They are all done. I just have them loosely clamped in place because they're gonna come off again when it goes back to the next shot for them to button everything else up. Yeah, you know, I'm pretty stoked on them. Like I said, only complaint was the cheaper material didn't weld as nice as I'd like it to, but overall, I think it looks pretty cool. Yeah, dude, I don't know. Teardrops are fun to make. They just look aggressive. So next up is the stinking, what is it called? The intake. So I don't know how I'm gonna fit that, so we'll see. I don't even know where we are in the video. I might just call it a day because it's already after 5 right now. And I still gotta go get a radiator hose for the BMW, or a coolant line. So I think I might wrap it up on the Evo for the day. As a matter of fact, yeah, we're gonna wrap it up on the Evo for the day. So where are we at? Wastegate dumps with teardrops and pie cuts. That means all we have left to do is the intake and put on the end links and the LCAs, and then do those extended studs. And then this thing's out of here. So on that note, I just want to thank you guys for spending some time out of your day to watch me do some cool stuff on a cool car. you know, if you ever want to help support the channel, I do have some affiliate links. Auxito just started hooking us up with LED headlights for the cars. So if you want to get yourself a set and save 15% while you're at it, use my affiliate link on the last video, or go to Auxito's website and use the code ChrisSadowski to get 15% off. And you know, Speelab hooks us up too. I got an affiliate link with them as well. You can find that in the description of the video where we did the exhaust or the header install. And yeah, I got merch in Big Cartel. And if you're local and you want some work done, hit me up at Velocity Race Fab on Instagram. So do what you love, guys. Forget about the rest, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out.